This is Pro Car Show, and today we are going to be reviewing the Passat B8 Bi-Tdi. This is a 2015 model to 2020. The new model is the B8.5, and that is from 21 and onwards. So when I say the Bi-Tdi, this is because it is not a single turbo, it is a bi-turbo. It's got a big turbo for your top end and a small turbo for your lower end grunt. So in reality, one's spooling a little bit sooner before the other one, so there's a constant power band rather than a big surge at about 1500 RPM. You've got max torque at around about 1700 RPM, so that's 500 newton meters. So this car standard is 240 brake horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque, which is insane for a passenger vehicle coming from Volkswagen. So we'll start a bit on the outside. So you've got these lovely little tornado lines, and it's just nice how they've funneled it down the bonnet, and then where it actually goes down, it ends up cutting part of the actual headlight out, which kind of just gives it a little bit more sharpness and angles in certain areas rather than being all round and curved, which seems to be the old 2005 era. So this car's fitted with non-standard wheels, obviously, and it's got a non-standard body kit. It's got Bowler B17s in a smoke black, and then we've got a Maxton design body kit all the way around, from front splitter to side skirts, spoiler up top, and a rear diffuser. The car is a very nice estate, a very great family wagon. People wouldn't actually think that this is a sleeper, but in reality this model, this GT model, is a sleeper. So the engine models vary from a 1.4 TFSI up to a 2 litre TFSI. There's about 4 engine models ranging from 120 horsepower, from 150, 190, and then 280 brake horsepower, which is like the R version, the equivalent same engine that you'd find in your Golf Rs. The diesels, on the other hand, you'd start with a 1.6 diesel. Pretty sure 1.6. That is around about 115 horsepower. Goes up to a 2 litre, and then you're sat with a 150 brake horsepower model, a 190 full motion, and then to the Bi-Tdi, which is the 240 brake horsepower version. I would say get the 2 litre 190 and lower, because they are better on fuel. That is a fact, better on fuel. So the spec on this car before it's had work done was around about 45 miles to the gallon, at a push 50. Since the remap's been done, it would be sat around 31 average from around your towns and your motorways. If you're very heavy footed and you're playing around, then you're going to see mid-20s. So I advise, if you're going to get the Bi-Tdi version, make sure your pockets are deep enough, and when you open that wallet there's no moths, because there will be after you've owned one of these. So if we have a little walk around the car, as you can see, you've got LED lights. These are your daytime runners. At the moment they're in a power saving mode, so they're not so bright, as it would screw around with a camera. That's another one. But if we just walk around the car and just follow the lines of the chrome breaks up the whole car. This is a pearlescent black, lovely colour in the dark and a lovely colour in the sunshine. Under certain light it does look a little bit blue. But you've got nice, lovely chrome flush roof rails, nice chrome around the windows. And if we work around to the back of the car, you've got some LED lights, as you can see from here. As again, it's in daytime saving mode, so the centre one's not lit up. So now we're going to look at the Maxton design front splitter. So this splitter is in a gloss black. It's not carbon fibre. If you buy carbon fibre, I think you're a fool. I'm just kidding with you, it's just highly expensive and I didn't want to pay out that much money. This is the V2 with the vertical bars, as you can see there. It looks a bit more aggressive than the V1. V1 doesn't really have the vertical bars. It just has more of like a horizontal line that goes across to follow the actual lower grille. But I think having the vertical lines really makes a little bit of a change in how aggressive the front looks. It does take up a good, I'd say, 1.5 inches of clearance. This car is lowered by about 35 to 40 mil as it's on springs at the moment. So you've lost, in reality, you've lost almost maybe a good, say, 4 inches. Or do I have to keep telling my missus it's bigger than 4? I can't really remember. But no, but as I said, in reality, it's 1.5 inches on the actual splitter, and then about 35 to 40 mil on the rear. So yeah, in reality, almost 4 inches. I keep telling my missus that. This is also the Maxton design side skirt, again in gloss black. Yeah, linking back to my recent comment about carbon fibre. I have nothing against carbon fibre, I just think it's quite expensive when you can have something that's black that blends with the car. But carbon fibre also goes with lots of other cars. But anyway, so this is gloss black. You can buy it in matte black, you can buy it in gloss black, you can buy it in non-painted white, or you can get it in a carbon fibre look. It's dipped, so it's not real carbon fibre from Maxton Design. There is other companies out there that will do real carbon fibre. I think it's Carbon Fibre Works, but it's always Carbon Factory. Yeah, Carbon Factory. But it's all down to personal preference. I thought black would go better with a black car. Funny enough. Maybe if you had white car and carbon fibre, it will go much better. But also white and black goes really well. So, but the fixings, there's about 10 fixings per side, self tappers, and they don't flap around in the wind or anything. I've caught my foot on it a couple of times, and it's never come off. So it's a good product. And then we'll walk around to the back. And coming to the rear of the car, this is the rear diffuser. Again, this is the V2 one with the vertical lines to go with the front of the car. Wouldn't make sense to have a horizontal line and then verticals at another end of the car. So the vertical lines then break it up. On the original bumper, it is just a hollow cutout, but having this fill the gap is much better than just seeing your standard hole, as I would say VW have done at the back there. Makes it a bugger to clean, because it's like getting your fingers in there to actually dry it, because as soon as you wash it and you drive along, it just gets covered in dust. Fixings on this one were a little bit more awkward underneath, which we'll have photos put up in the corner of the screen. We've had to take an under tray out on one side and then use the holes for the under tray to line up with the actual rear diffuser. And there's nothing to fix the middle. There's a big platform, like a plate underneath, where the diffuser actually fixes to the car, but there's nothing at the front here, so it's a bit like me after a bit of a line. And then if we move up to the spoiler, gloss black again. This is again, I think, the only spoiler that they do for this model. It's almost like a little batwing. It's not as big as the Bi-Tdi spoilers, but it does give it a little bit more aggressiveness. It's not too overkill. It's not a massive drag wing. Does actually nothing to the car apart from aesthetics. But it's a nice finish. This one's stuck down with 3M tape. It's been like this for maybe 5 months now, and it's not going anywhere. Nice little flip badge, easy to open up, all hydraulic. So the boot space is massive. It's 585 litres. When you fold the seats down, they're 1152 litres. That is insane. Not as big as the Skoda Superb, but still on a massive scale. Now, to flip the seats down is very easy. You grab these little pull tabs on each side. They're a 60-40 split, so it's just flip down your two. The one on the left, pull it so easily, it folds down all three. Now, to put them back up, I'll just walk round. It's very easy. You just reach through, grab the seat, lift it up. Same as the other one, straight back up. Once they're clicked into place, they won't fold back down. Now, to close the lid of the boot, or should I say the little parcel shelf at the back, you flip this down, click it down once, and you pull, and you can have it halfway, or you can pull it again and have it the full way. Now, to release this, it says press, pretty simple for everyone. Just press it down once, goes back halfway, press it down again. You can either keep it like that, or if you want to get something at the back, you've got maybe some Tupperware box or something, you can just flip out of the way. Now, also to remove this, very simple. VW thought about this, it's quite nice. You just push in the end, lift it up, and it comes out. Now, I would try and store this under the boot floor, but as you can see, I can't. But also with this boot floor, you can lift it up with the handle that's there. You can slide it back out and slide it back in and drop the floor by 2 inches. Right, moving on from the boot, I'm going to move to the back passenger compartment area. So I'm 5'10", yeah, right, don't laugh, not that high. Right, now the space in here is incredible. There's a good, I don't know, 7 inches from the head height in the middle. I'll move over. Even tall people around 6 foot, 6'2" would have loads of clearance. Leg space is really good. It might be a little bit snug with passengers either side, but it's a nice, comfortable place to be. You've got big door pockets. You can fit, if I've got one, a 2-litre bottle, which I don't have. You can slide a 2-litre bottle in there. At the moment, the guy's got his roof rail straps in there. Got nice LED streak lines down the sides. You've got speakers, 2 speakers in each door, child lock as you would normally have, but it's nice that everything you look around is everything's nice and plush. It's all neat and tidy. You've got dual air conditioning in the back, so you can have it. It's a 3-way climate control system, so you can have different temperatures if you choose to. You've also got lights on the ceiling, which you can turn off once you've shut the door. You've got nice compartments in the back of the seats, which we've tested don't actually affect the driver or the passenger when you put big, large items in it. I advise not to, because you'll stretch it and damage the leather. Welcome to the interior of the Passat estate. Now, as you can see around, it's still very basic for a Passat. It's not like your Audis and your BMWs yet of this model in this year. As you can see from the dash and radio, that it is still up to date to a certain degree. Some Audis are rather dated with their circle air vents. The only thing this car didn't come with was a panoramic roof. As you can see, it's just a ceiling and a sunglasses holder. The active dash, which obviously isn't there because the original buyer was a bit on the cheap side. Right, and now we've done the interior, it's time to take her out for a spin. So, it's pushed up, down the drive. Let's see how comfortable she is. Right, we're currently in eco mode. Now, bearing in mind to remember that this has had an engine tune and also a gearbox map as well to suit torque limitations. Beforehand, the engine would have been putting out too much power for the gearbox to work in sync. So now that the gearbox has been mapped, there'd be more pressure on the clutch plates rather than causing loads of slip and excessive wear on your clutch. So it's power limited in eco. You can put your foot down and it doesn't really change very quickly, keeps the revs low, but if we see, this is fitted with DCC suspension. As you can see on the dash here, we've got comfort, normal, sport and eco and individual. So comfort makes your suspension nice and soft. It puts your steering into normal, your gearbox into normal drive, and normal is normal, as you would as you would expect. And let's try sport. And so this would have put the gearbox into sport. Would have also put the engine into sport as well, and the suspension. So once we try and get out of this junction. Right. So we'll give it a little bit of a tickle. I mean, so at 10 miles an hour, I'll just give it a little bit of a tickle. So, I mean, it's definitely not a couch. This thing does pull, actually, quite surprisingly well. Let's see what we can do. So the feel is, you know, your typical VW, quite a solid feel car. Not much body roll on this one, where we've got the suspension into sport. Also, there is adjustable drop links and lowering springs on this model. So if we just slow it down, get back to about 10 miles an hour, and then we'll just put it into manual. So this car does pull really well. Just get it on the old downshift there. It's so smooth. Your downshifts, timed right, is super smooth. And then your upshift, even when you go into manual mode, it's so responsive now. Beforehand, you would have saw a delay on your standard one. I highly recommend to get a gearbox map. I mean, you go down a gear, it just bangs it down straight away. If you go up a gear, it just bangs it straight up a gear, rather than beforehand you would get initial maybe 3/4 to a second, maybe a second delay. So it's become a very responsive gearbox when in manual. But we're back into auto now. So it's just chilling, just doing under 40, and our miles per gallon, which we won't be able to see yet because we've not really been driving for that long. As you can see, it's only done 11 miles today, but it's only done 21.7 miles per gallon. It's not great on fuel. It's since the map, it's a very juicy thing. It's worked out. We done a test the other day. We brimmed the tank. We went out and did 80 miles, and we then refilled to see how much fuel we'd actually used. And now with this whole petrol crisis, where all the prices have flown up, we've filled it up with £21 and 8p. So that was V-powered diesel. Yes, this has V-powered diesel. All my cars get V-power. And yeah, it could be a con, who knows, but preferably I like it. But it's expensive. If you think you're using £21 to 80 miles, that is an expensive trip. So with a diesel, I wouldn't recommend doing lots of short journeys, or using on the weekend and just parking up in the week. I would recommend to give it a good 10-minute run every day, 10 to 15 miles, just so you can get your DPF cleaned out. Otherwise, you're going to be in for an expensive bill when you start to get problems with blockages. But I would highly recommend that the 2-litre version, which is this is again 2-litre version, but the 190 and the 150. Your 150 is going to be your best one on fuel. Your 240 brake horsepower 4Motion is going to be your brilliant little sleeper, and great for towing. Your 190, which is also a 4Motion, that would be good for towing. And then the 1.6 diesel is good to a certain degree, probably for the cost of purchasing the car. But if you're wanting more power because they're very gutless, you're going to end up remapping it and spending a lot more money on fuel. Now, that's not the case for all remapping. Some remapping does make your fuel economy better, but in some cases it doesn't. This car would never had a very good fuel miles per gallon in the first place. So when this wasn't remapped, I wasn't expecting it to actually go up. I was hoping it would stay the same, but no, not really. It's gone down. In that case, my wallet's taken a bit of a hit. So normally when I pop out, I'll go out and do maybe 80 miles in a weekend for one day, and I'm thinking, oh, that's only just cost me £21. Only £21. To some other cars, you only spend like £4. So it's all down to personal preference. But yeah, we'll just give it a bit of a tickle in auto and see. Oh no, we'll just wait a minute and then we'll give it a go and see what it can do. But it's a quiet car in here. There's a little bit of road noise from the tyres. These are fitted with Pirelli P0 tyres. These are the N1 Porsche fitment tyres. They were recommended by Wheelbase, where the alloy wheels were supplied from. And I can't fault them. I used to have Michelin Climate Cross Pluses for a great all year round, but I cannot fault these tyres. So let's give it a little bit of a tickle. Yeah, it's definitely not slow. Let's see what it's like a little bit higher up. So if we're doing 50, let's have a look. So it just pulls seamlessly. You're not going to have a problem overtaking in this, that's for sure. Compared to some other cars out there and your smaller cars, you end up really having to judge that overtake. Oh, have you got enough time? Oh, maybe not. I don't think I will. But in this, you just put your foot down and you're gone. It's a very quick car. Your little boy racer in his Corsa or a Fiesta ST is going to be in for a big surprise. This will keep up and stay with a just a standard Golf R, your Mark 7 and your Mark 7.5. It will, sorry, say that again. It'd be your Mark, yes, 7.5 and Mark 8. Yes, it is 7.5, isn't it? 7? 7. Mark 7. Well, we definitely know it starts with a Mark 7. You'll see that from my little drag video. Yeah, the owner was pretty upset about that. But with Golfs, you know, they are tunable, quite tunable engines. I mean, this is only up to a stage 1. They don't do a stage 2 for the Bi-Tdi diesel. But obviously for your petrol Golfs and stuff, your performance bits, there's loads of stages. And so there's some quite nippy ones out there. Right, and now we're going to do a launch to see what this can do. So go mode, select, make sure we're in sport. And we're going to hold the traction control button down until it's off. And we're not going to put the traction control in sport, but it's just better as off. We're just going to follow the manual, VW's manual for it. And now it's just put your foot heavy on the brake. Now full acceleration. And the launch. Right, and that is the wrap of today. So that was our review and a little bit of a play with the Passat Bi-Tdi 4Motion.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Pro Car Show. We'd love to hear your feedback, so if you like this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. If there was anything you didn't like, let us know in the comments below. If there's any vehicles you'd like to see us review, give us a message on our website at www.procarshow.co.uk.